In today's video I'm playing through all of Star Fox. After appearing in the Mario Galaxy movie, Fox McCloud has now finally got a brand new game. And yeah, while it is just Star Fox 64 again, I was still really excited to play through this. I mean, just look at Slippy in this game, like this is just peak character design. And yeah, let's just say these new character designs caused a little bit of discussion in the Nintendo space. But anyway, let's start the game and see what this new remake is all about. It started with this dog called General Pepper checking in on Team Star Fox. However, this isn't the one we all know and love. Instead, this is James McCloud's Star Fox, who is Fox's dad. And I'll be honest, he really is just the cooler version of Fox. His teammates were Peppy Hare and Pigma Dengar, and they were checking out the planet Venom to see if the evil Dr. Andross was up to anything. All of a sudden though, hundreds of enemy ships appeared, and Pigma ended up betraying them because he's just evil like that. And after James sacrificed himself to save Peppy's life, he told him to get out of there, and to also keep an eye on his son Fox. And I really like that cutscene. It sets up the game's story well, and I think the cutscenes in this game is one of my favourite parts about it. But anyway, I was now Fox, and I was in a bit of a virtual reality training mode to get used to flying around in an R-Wing. Peppy was here teaching me, and while I've played through Star Fox 64 before, I'll be honest, I really wasn't that good at it. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I don't think I ever really got comfortable with the controls. This little tanuki at the bottom of the screen taught me the basics, like how to boost and brake, and he also taught me how to do a somersault, which was pretty fun. Slippy Toad was also here doing a bit of training, and I was happy to see him, but he ended up somersaulting into me and destroyed my wing. Slippy, I hyped you up at the start of the video, and this is what you do to me. Yeah, let's just say I held a bit of a grudge against Slippy from that point on. But anyway, there was an item that repaired my wing, and the last bit of this training session had me defeating some enemies and using some bombs, and it also had me doing a barrel roll, which is always fun. I started my final test to see how good I was, but of course Falco Lombardi showed up, and this bird's got a bit of an attitude. He's kinda mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Fox! Your finger's on the transmit button.
Nice one, Foxy.
Nice one, Foxy.
This training bit ended in all range mode, which had me flying around freely, defeating enemies and doing a couple U-turns. Of course though, Falco had to spoil the fun as he turned up the difficulty to the max, which made loads of enemies appear. And just as I thought I was doing alright, Peppy pulled the plug on the game, as apparently General Pepper of the Cornerian Defence Force needed our help. So now that my training was complete, I started the campaign on normal difficulty. It started with Fox having a chat with General Pepper, and he told him that the evil Dr. Andross's army was attacking the planet Corneria, and that he needed their help with not just saving Corneria, but the whole Lilac system. And of course Fox agreed to help, for the right price at least, which is fair enough I guess, those Star Fox jackets can't be cheap. Corneria was of course the first level, and this is definitely one of my favourites in the whole game. It's pretty simple and easy, but I really like how it goes from being all nice looking when you're flying over the sea, to it being absolutely decimated when you get to the main city. Like the atmosphere just completely changes, and it definitely feels like you've just flown into a war zone. And as I was flying around here, I saved Falco from these ships that were attacking him, which I think he was grateful for, and if I followed him under these arches I could unlock an alternate route and ending to this level, but I thought I'd try that out a bit later on. So I stuck to the regular path of this level, which led me to this boss at the end of it. It was one of Andross's followers inside of this giant mech looking thing, but once I did a bit of a U-turn and attacked him from behind, I defeated him really quickly, which I wasn't expecting. I thought he'd pull up more of a fight. Anyway, a cutscene then played which showed that Falco just had zero respect for Fox as the group's leader, even though I did just save your life, Falco, like you better remember that. And at this point I was questioning why Falco was even here if he was just going to be difficult like this. Anyway, Pepper the dog warned us about the meteor asteroid field we were about to pass through, as apparently Andross had some of his guys there, so yeah, that's where we were heading next. And yeah, this level is basically just a huge asteroid field. I had to watch out for these giant boulders as I was flying, and General Pepper was right, as some of Andross's minions were here. It wasn't long before I faced another boss though, and to defeat him, I had to shoot these yellow little things on his ship as they appeared. Once I attacked him enough, he surprisingly surrendered, but of course this was a dirty little trick, and he started shooting these crazy purple beams at me. But once I attacked him a bit more, he ended up blowing up, and we quickly got out of there. The ice planet Fucina was our next destination, as it held some vital military information that General Pepper didn't want getting out. The level started off pretty peacefully, it just had me flying around defeating some enemies, but all of a sudden a bomb had been planted that we needed to stop, and what made things even worse was that Star Wolf appeared. These are basically our evil counterparts, and they were hired by Andross to stop us. Their team is made up of this wolf called, well, just Wolf, Leon, this chameleon looking thing, Andrew, who is also Andross's nephew, which is kind of funny. I always wondered why he kept calling him Uncle Andross. And finally Pigma, the same one that betrayed James and Peppy before. We had a bit of a dogfight with them, and once I took them all out, Fox went and took care of the bomb. Surprisingly, I actually got to pick which level I wanted to play through next. My first option was the planet Solar, which apparently had some strange energy readings coming from it, and I'll be honest, it kinda looked like hell, I'm not gonna lie. While my other option was Sector X, which is where Andross had apparently created a secret weapon reason. I decided to be brave though, and went to solar, and I'll be honest, I regretted it at first. Because of the planet's extreme temperature, you were just constantly taking damage during this level. I had to grab as many of these recovery rings as possible. The silver ones restored a bit of my health, but the gold ones were the best, as if I grabbed 3 of them, it would increase my maximum health, which was really useful during this level. Also, what didn't help was that I was playing this level during a heat wave, so I was getting that 4D experience. I actually never beat this level when I originally played through Star Fox 64, and it was mainly because of the boss at the end of it. You see, there was somehow something alive down here, and it turned out to be this giant fire demon looking thing. This thing was crazy. It had these giant cipher looking arms that could just obliterate me, so I had to focus on taking them out first, while also keeping an eye on my health. And thankfully, I could heal myself from destroying the boulders that it flung at me. Once I destroyed both of its arms, it started going crazy, sending all of these fire waves at me. But once I attacked its head enough times, it was finally defeated and we got out of that hellscape. I really liked the cutscene that played after, as it showed Fox going to the fridge to get a nice cold drink, and I don't blame him considering where we'd just been. Macbeth was the next planet we were heading to, as this is where Andros was creating all of these weapons. General Pepper wanted us to create a bit of chaos here, and Slippy suggested taking out this train, as it would cut off Andros' supply of weapons from Macbeth. And to give Fox a better shot at taking it out, Slippy told him to use the Landmaster. This thing is basically a tank, and I could even hover around in it. I followed the train while blowing a bunch of stuff up, and eventually I reached this part where I had to shoot 8 of these rail locks which would divert the train. I remember these being kinda hard to hit in the original game, so I really focused on trying to get them here. Not even this flying robot would stop me from getting them, and what was nice was that Falco hit one of them for me, so you know what, maybe it's not so bad. And once I hit the switch, the train was sent into their factory where it all blew up. We were now really close to Andros' base at Venom now. I just had to choose which way I wanted to approach him by. I could either go through Bolse, which was a defense satellite, or Area 6, which had some pretty scary enemies in it. And I decided to go through Bolse, since I was pretty scared of Area 6 to be honest. To destroy the satellite, I need to destroy all of these red energy towers which are powering this force field. Once I did that, the satellite core as well as the enemies were now vulnerable. Now normally Starwolf would appear during this level, but as I beat them back at Fucina, they didn't turn up, which was pretty nice, as I could just focus on taking out the satellite's core. And once I did that, there was now nothing standing in our way between us and Venom, so I headed straight there. It started with me having to avoid loads of these enemies in this canyon, and once I got a bit further on, I went inside of this ancient temple. There was this giant stone guy in here, and I had to shoot him while avoiding all of the traps that were around. And once I destroyed it, Fox went alone to go and confront Andros. And yeah, he's just a giant floating head.
He's a giant head.
I had to destroy both of his hands, which he clearly didn't like as he kept trying to eat me. I kept dropping bombs whenever he did this, and once his hands were gone, I just kept firing at him. And once I did that enough times, his face was destroyed, which revealed his Five Nights at Freddy's looking endoskeleton. He kept trying to bite me, but after I shot him a little bit more, he was finally defeated. Fox just about managed to get out of there, and once he rejoined with the rest of the team, Falco actually complimented him, which was pretty surprising. But just as everything seemed to be going well, Fox said that he had a feeling that this wasn't over, and he was right, as it then cut to Andros, and he was somehow still alive, as apparently what we had just beat was a fake robot Andros. But that was where this campaign ended, and it showed the invoice to General Pepper, which was kind of funny. So yeah, that's just a basic ending to the game, and if I wanted to get the secret true ending, I had to take a different route to Andros and go through Area 6 instead. Before I did that though, I messed around a bit in the menus and even scanned some amiibo. I also found this lore section where you can read up on all the different characters' backstories. Scanning some amiibo unlocked me some new emblems and banners that I could put on my profile for the online mode, so I decided to try that out next. It put me on Team Starwolf, and I'll be honest, I had no idea what I was doing. We had to capture cargo and take it to our base, and I don't think I was much help with that, but I did shoot down some of the enemy players a couple of times. We ended up losing, which was kind of sad, but somehow I was apparently the team MVP, so you know what, I'll take it. So after getting completely destroyed, I decided to leave the online mode alone for a little bit, and instead I turned my attention towards the challenge mode. Each level had 12 challenges to complete, with there being 6 normal difficulty ones and 6 expert difficulty ones. I started the Corneria ones first, and they had me doing pretty basic stuff, like using a charge shot to take down 3 enemies at once. But there were some other more tricky ones. For example, it wanted me to defeat all of the Garuda robots, which sounds easy enough, but I had no idea what a bloody Garuda robot even was. What was nice though was that if I went past one and failed the mission, it would tell me and I could just restart. And what was even nicer was that I didn't have to redo the ones that I'd already completed. That made completing these pretty fun, as I could sort of pick and choose which ones I wanted to go for first. One of the challenges was completing a level in 3 minutes, which I thought was going to be really difficult, but you can defeat the boss really quickly, so I did it with about 20 seconds to spare. The challenge that left me a bit confused here was the one where I had to destroy every vulnerable part of the Granga, which was the boss at the end. I thought it was talking about its weak part on its back, but clearly that wasn't working, so instead I tried out a more brutal method, as I started shooting out its legs and cannons. I actually felt kind kinda bad for doing this, as he's just left on the floor with his legs cut off. But once I destroyed his final part, I'd completed the challenge. And those sort of challenges were definitely my favourite, as I wouldn't have even known you could do that without them. I like it when the challenges get you to learn a bit more about the level, and have you interacting with more of it, as it's easy to miss things when you're first playing through them. A perfect example of this is one of the Meteor challenges, as it wanted me to fly through all 7 of the energy anomalies here. I again didn't really know what it meant by this, but I got the gist once I saw these yellow portal looking things. And once I went through all of them, it took me to this crazy wormhole. There were a bunch of these multicoloured rocks that I could destroy, and doing this was a great way to get a really high hit count, which I needed for one of the challenges. This was an alternate route out of Meteor, which I didn't even know about. I've got to admit though, one of the challenges in Fucina was kind of annoying. Like, the gamer rage was really starting to come out here. See, I had to destroy all 26 of the antennas here, which sounded alright, and it was easy enough at first, but once there was only probably 1 or 2 left, I really struggled to find them. And what didn't help either was that Starwolf was constantly on my back the whole time as well. I did eventually find it though, which was pretty nice, as I was kind of going insane there. I was pretty scared of Solar's challenges, as I found this level kind of difficult, but what was cool was that I did learn that you can use a bomb to get rid of the lava waves. This was useful as one of the challenges was to beat the level without getting hit by the planet's plasma surface. I was kind of worried about this challenge, as I'd always get hit by one of the lava waves during the boss fight, but somehow I luckily avoided it on my first try, which was a bit of a relief to be honest. And thankfully, the other challenges here weren't too bad, and I got them done pretty easily. The final levels challenges that I did before starting a new campaign was Macbeth, and looking back now, I was here for quite a while. I think it was mainly because of this challenge that had me trying to avoid the flying robot's tail attack. I really struggled to avoid it, and every time it grabbed me I had to restart from the beginning of the level, which kinda sucked, as it took a while to get back to that point again, but on one try after I narrowly avoided it, I finally destroyed its tail and managed to defeat it. I still had the Bolts and Venom challenges left to do, but I decided to leave it there for a bit, and instead started up a new campaign. I wanted to try and unlock a few new levels that I hadn't played before, and I also wanted to go for the true secret ending this time. So while I was in Corneria, I followed Falco under these arches, which let me go through this waterfall. Falco apparently knew about a high value target that we could go for, so after following this path for a bit, I faced a brand new boss. Just like the other boss here in Corneria, he was pretty simple to defeat, and I find Fox's line he says to him kinda funny.
We're Star Fox.
I think the voice acting is pretty good in this game, I don't really have a problem with it, but that line specifically is 100 times better in the original game.
We're Star Fox.
Oh yeah, I also managed to get this level's medal. Every level has one, and to unlock the expert difficulty in this game, I needed to get every single one. And to get them, I needed to get a certain amount of hits by defeating enemies, and also all 4 of my teammates needed to survive the level as well. My main focus during this playthrough though was unlocking new levels, and as I went through the alternate route out of Corneria, I unlocked Sector Y. This place has got loads of his mechs flying around, and the boss here was for Shogun the Warlord. You'd think this boss fight would be pretty hard, you know, he is kind of intimidating, but I found it really easy to defeat him, and what was cool was that I got the medal here as well. The level after that was a bit different, as it had me under the sea in the blue marine. I had infinite torpedoes I could use, which was nice, but it makes me wonder why the R-Wings don't have something like that. Like, infinite bombs would be great. For some reason all of the sea creatures were attacking me, and getting the medal here is actually really difficult, and I won't get it until a bit later on. Anyway, after I destroyed some starfish, and those fish with the light bulbs on them, I found this giant clam that Andros had somehow created. The infinite torpedoes were really useful, and it didn't take me too long to defeat it. I then got to try out another new level after that, being Zone S, and I really like this level. There were these searchlights that I had to destroy, and a brand new character showed up, being Cat. Her and Falco clearly have a bit of history, and apparently her and Falco used to be in their own little group before he left to join Star Fox, which I know because I read it in the little lore section. Anyway, she helped take out some searchlights, and I managed to get to the boss without being spotted. The boss here was a pirate or something, and he kept shooting this wrecking ball at me. I first needed to destroy his ship's exhaust pipes, as doing that would let me hit his cannons. This was the boss that I struggled with in the original game, but it wasn't too bad here. Instead of then going to Macbeth, I instead decided to go to Sector Z, which was a level I was really bad at when I originally played Star Fox 64, so yeah, let's just say the gamer rage might have come back. It has you in all range mode flying around defeating enemies, but all of a sudden missiles start appearing and you have to defeat them if you want the Great Fox, which was their main command ship, to not be blown up. There were 6 of these missiles in total, and when there were only 1 or 2 of them at a time, it was fine, but the last round had 3 of them. Thankfully Cat showed up to help out, and with a bit of teamwork, we managed to take out all 3 of the missiles. There was now only 1 level left before Venom, and this time I decided to go through Area 6 instead of Bolts to try and get the true ending. And this level is really cool. It has you approaching Venom while taking out loads of enemies, and because the Great Fox didn't get blown to pieces by missiles, Rob, this robot who was piloting it, could help me out a bit. Now I didn't exactly have a pleasant time when I first fought the boss here in the original game. It's this round dish looking thing, and to be able to attack it, I had to destroy its tentacle robot arms that it liked trying to hit me with. It's also got this insane laser attack that almost decimated me as well. But once you're able to shoot its weak spot, start, you can defeat it really quickly, well, at least on normal difficulty, and after I beat it, I headed to Venom, but this time the level is called Venom 2, so I guess it's a bit of a sequel. Instead of going through the canyon this time, it had me fighting Starwolf in their brand new upgraded ships. Unfortunately, they took out half my team, but I did manage to eventually defeat all of them. Fox once again went alone to defeat Andros, and as I was in the tunnels heading towards him, I wanted to see if the extra life was here like in the original game. While I was playing the original, I found out if you go right and then left in the tunnels leading to Andros, you can find an extra life you can go and get if you keep dying to him, and they did actually include it in this remake, which is pretty cool. The Andros fight here is pretty much the same as before, but this time when I defeated him, he revealed his true form, and it's basically just a brain and a set of eyeballs. And I just instantly died here as I only had a sliver of health, like I instantly just got taken out. So I redid that first fight again, and this time I tried to keep my distance from him and just focused on trying to get rid of his eyeballs. I managed to do it, but my health was back in the red danger zone, so as I was shooting at his brain, I was pretty scared of dying again. If I got too close, he'll grab me with his tendrils, so I really had to keep my distance. But unfortunately I did end up dying again, which was really sad.
I hate this game so much.
My next try wasn't going that much better, but I somehow actually managed to beat him. But the level still wasn't over yet. Fox still needed to escape this place. And somehow James McCloud appeared in an R-Wing to guide him out of there. And I've got to say, he sounds a lot cooler in the original game.
Don't ever give up, my son.
Father?
It's me, Michael.
I was trying to be as careful as possible while flying to the exit, as dying at this point did not sound fun, and thankfully I managed to get out of there alive. The rest of Star Fox were happy to see Fox safe and sound, and I like seeing the little ceremony after the credits, and it ends with Fox and his team declining a job offer by General Pepper, and instead they run off towards new adventures. And I've got to say, Fox looks really goofy when he's running like that, and yeah, that was Star Fox's true ending, and I like it. I like that you get to see James McCloud again, and I think it's definitely worth trying to get if you already got the regular ending. Anyway, there was now some more challenges for me to complete in the new levels that I'd unlocked, and I really enjoyed completing these, and I think doing this was good practice for when I wanted to try and get all of the medals in the levels, as I did learn about some good ways of getting loads of hits. I found the Aqua's challenges kinda tough, as I had to keep my eye out for loads of these giant clams. I also had to try and pass through 3 trios of these jellyfish without getting hit, which was a bit of a pain in the arse to be honest. One of the Sector Z challenges was cool, as I learned that you can go into the Great Fox's repair bay to heal yourself up a bit. Like I would have no idea you could do that without this challenge. So yeah, that's definitely my favourite type of challenge, as you get to learn something you might not have known about the level before. But the challenge I struggled with the most here was the one that had me trying to land the final shot on all of the missiles, and it was so annoying whenever Falco or anybody else would do it. I eventually managed to complete it, but that one definitely took a while. Also, I've got to mention this, it was pretty cool that one of the challenges in Venom 2 was getting that secret extra life, so yeah, that one was pretty easy to get. Anyway, after I did every normal difficulty challenge that I could, I started up a new campaign, and basically did a mix of trying to get as many medals that I could, while also trying to unlock the last few levels that I hadn't already. And what was cool was that I got to play a level that I didn't even unlock in the original game. It had a bunch of other Quinarian fighters flying around, and they were led by a dog called Bill. Slippy said hi to him at the ending ceremony earlier, and I had no idea who he was, but it would have made a lot more sense if I had played this level. I had to be careful not to shoot any of our allies down. One of the challenges here is to hit less than 3 while playing through the level. Sector X was another new level that I played, and Bill showed up again to help out, which was quite nice of him. Now, to unlock a new level, I had to let the boss here take out Slippy, as that made him crash land onto the planet Titania. I felt kinda bad about doing this, but it had to be done. Titania's level had me back in the Landmaster, and our main goal here was to rescue Slippy from this creature that had grabbed him. I also made sure to get enough hits to get the medal here so I didn't have to come back. But with Slippy now being safe and sound, I went to Bolse and Venom to get their medals. Bolse's was easy enough to get, but I really struggled with Venom's. I could get around 30 hits at the start pretty easily using a bomb, but I just couldn't get enough hits while flying through the canyon. It also kinda sucks that defeating Andros doesn't get you any. There's multiple pathways you can take through here, so I basically just kept restarting until I found the most optimal route. It would have helped if I had multiple bombs at the start, but I didn't, so I just had to keep trying. There were some lasers in the tunnel leading up to Andros that I could destroy to get some hits, but they just weren't enough to get me the 200 that I needed. On one try though, I just about managed to do it, and I barely got 200 after destroying the lasers. So yeah, that medal was kinda rough to get. Venom 2's was easier to get, as all I had to do was just defeat Starwolf. After that, I did the rest of the normal difficulty challenges that I'd unlocked, and they were basically more of the same, with some being trickier than other ones. And once I'd completed all of them, I went through the rest of the levels to get the medals that I'd missed. What was nice was that you can quit a campaign and it will save whatever medals you got, so you don't have to complete it if there's none left for you to get on that route. Another level that took a while to get the medal on was Aqua's. You'd think with infinite torpedoes it would be really easy to hit everything, but I just kept missing them. Thankfully though, you do get quite a few hits from defeating that giant clam, so yeah, shout out to him. And once I got the rest of the medals, I'd finally unlocked expert mode. And what's cool is that Fox wears his dad's sunglasses when you play on this difficulty. Like, yeah, I can't deny it, that is cool. Anyway anyway, that was my entire Star Fox experience, and yeah, I really like this game. I definitely prefer it over the original. I did enjoy my time playing Star Fox 64, but I definitely prefer this more modern version of it. I think the only thing I prefer about the original is the dialogue, like that does give it a lot of charm. I might eventually make a video about the expert mode and challenges, but for now, I'm happy with what I've done. I really hope this leads to a brand new Star Fox game though. Like, I really hope the next time we see Fox and the crew isn't in 10 years for another Star Fox 64 remake on the Switch 3. Yeah, I hope this leads to something brand new. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Definitely make sure to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.